Hey guys, okay, so today I wanted to do something a little bit different. We're gonna kind of do some sort of full face first impressions, but not really full face because all I have is like a new foundation, I've got a new eyeshadow palette, and I also have a new brush that I really want to try out. The few things that I picked up, I grabbed the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define foundation. It looks like this. I have tried their concealer before and I loved it. So this was literally $12. You get 0.8 fluid ounces. This reminds me a lot of the Tarte Shape Tape hydrating foundation that I've been using on my channel. Like the packaging looks almost identical, except this one seems bigger. So like this is them level, and this one seems a little bit bigger. Tarte Shape Tape has 1.01 fluid ounce, and this is literally only 0.8 fluid ounce. So I guess they're catfishing me on the packaging. Like it looks like it's a lot and I guess it's less, but I mean it is like super cheap in comparison. I think this, I got it on sale for $22, but it's originally, I want to say around 40 bucks, maybe a little bit more, and this one was literally $12. So just something to note, but I am really excited to try out this foundation today, and we'll see how that goes. And the other thing that I got, it's a dual-ended silicone brush by NYX. This was $11.99 at Ulta, so I went ahead and I picked this up. And it's supposed to be similar to applying shadows with your finger, the ones that you have issues picking them up with brushes, even with like a setting spray. So I'm going to give that a try today, and we're going to see how that works too. And then I also, this one I did not get today, but I've had it for a little while now, and that is the Morphe Boss Mood palette. Looks like this. So I'm excited to play around with that today too. Let's get started. We're going to do our eyes first. Okay, so starting out, I noticed that the 35B doesn't really have any transition shades for me to use. So I'm going to pull out the 35V, and I'm going to go in with this shade. Don't judge her for being so dusty. She's been used quite a bit. So I'm going to grab this shade on my Morphe M441, and we're going to use that as our transition. Okay, so that transition shade was really close to my skin tone, so you can't really see it that much. But next we are going to go in, I'm going to dip into this orangey shade, and I'm probably going to have to dip in a few times to build it up, I'm not sure. And this is just an IT Cosmetics fluffy little blending brush. So we're going to pop this into our crease and blend it out. Okay, so right off the bat, I just want to say that I am really impressed with the pigmentation of this shade. It seems to be blending quite easily. I'm not noticing any patchiness, and I'm really shocked because I only had to go in twice, so I'm really impressed by that. Okay, so now I'm just going to grab that same transition shade from the Morphe 35V palette from earlier. The same brush, Morphe M441. I'm going to go in some soft circular motions, windshield wiper motions as well, to try and blend this out and make it look a little less harsh. Okay, so it looks like I blended away a little bit of the vibrancy of this shade. So I'm gonna try and build it back up to that intense orange. So I'm just gonna grab the exact same shade and we're just gonna try and build that back up. Now I'm just gonna go back in with my Morphe in 441. No product on it, just whatever's left over from when we blended before. And I'm just gonna try and blend out these outer edges again. Okay, so now I am going to take this little tapered brush that I got in an Ipsy bag ages ago, and I'm going to go in with this reddish orange shade down here to try and deepen up the crease, because I am going to be doing a cut crease. So you really want to build up your crease depth as much as possible so that when you cut it, it looks really sharp. I'm going to pack this color on and then blend it out with a different brush. Okay, so far I am pretty impressed with how blendable these have been. The pigment is there, it's really good. Slight amount of fallout, but it doesn't bother me at all because I do my foundation last. Okay, so now I'm going to do something that I rarely ever do, and I'm going to try to use black to deepen up this outer portion of my lid, of my crease. So I'm going to take my Morphe M514, looks like this right here, and we're gonna go in with this matte shade, assuming it's black because it swatches black. We're gonna go in with that. It seems really creamy, so we'll see how this goes. I'm going to be keeping a light hand because I'm not sure how this is gonna blend out and I'm kind of afraid. Tap off. Is really pigmented because I barely had any on my brush. It seemed like I tapped it off, I went in light, and it's really pigmented. So we're gonna try and attempt to blend it out. I'm going to go back in with this It Cosmetics blending brush. We're just gonna do some circular motions and see if we can get that to blend out. So I'm going to tap back in to that orange shade and put a little bit of that on this brush just to try and help blend it back out a little bit and make sure that it keeps the orange tone that I'm looking for. Okay, so it seems to be blending out pretty well. I've never really used a black before, but I mean, it doesn't look patchy or anything to me. I am going to grab a bit of a fluffier brush. I'm going to grab my Morphe M441. This is the brush that we used for our transition shade. Okay, so I'm just gonna try and buff out those edges a little bit. I think it looks pretty good. It blended pretty seamlessly in my opinion. This is what it's looking like so far. So I'm gonna go work on this other eye and then we'll come back to cut the crease. Okay, so now we are going to concentrate on cutting the crease. I am going to be using my Tarte Shape Tape concealer. Looks like this. And I'm also going to be using my NYX detailed crease brush. Looks like this. This is a lifesaver for cutting the crease. I highly recommend picking one up. It makes things so much easier. Okay guys, now that we have cut our crease, now comes the most exciting part of the video in my opinion. I get to try out this little dual-ended silicone brush by NYX Cosmetics. We're going to be using this end right here because I want it to be very precise. I'm going to use that side to pick up this really gorgeous kind of green shade. We are not going to wet it or anything because I'm hoping we won't need to. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Okay, the brush is coated, so let's see how it applies to the eye. So I have a little bit of fallout, as you can see, but the brush really helped to pick up that pigment. I am going to attempt to wet the shadow after I pick it up on the brush to see if that helps reduce the amount of fallout. The precision that this brush was able to give me is unreal. This has made things so much easier. So I'm definitely gonna be using this, probably incorporating it into almost every look that I do. Okay, so now using that same smaller side of this silicone brush, I'm going to go in with this really pretty golden kind of greenish shade, and we are going to put that in the inner portion of our crease. going to just take my finger and use it to kind of blend these shadows together a little bit more. There we go. Now I'm gonna take my Morphe M514 again. We're gonna go back into that black shade and we're gonna use it to try and just blend out this outer crease area. Now I'm just going to take this It Cosmetics brush again, and we're going to use that to just try and blend out that black a little bit. Now I'm just going to grab my Morphe M514, this little guy right here, and we're going to use that to just try and blend it out just a little bit more. Alright guys, so this is the final look for the eyeshadow. I'm gonna go put on some winged liner and some lashes, and then I'll be back to do the foundation. Okay, so now we get into another fun part of the video where we get to try out the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define foundation. I tried to match myself in the store, so hopefully I did that correctly. As you can tell, I've got a lot of stuff going on with my skin right now, which is not really normal for me. It doesn't happen that often, but it is happening right now. So we're really going to put this foundation to the test. I'm going to prime, and I'm going to use the Revlon Color Stay primer. So let's go ahead and get primed. Okay, so now we're gonna go in with this foundation and see how it does. It has kind of like a chemically smell to it. If you guys are familiar with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation, I used to use that, and it smells kind of similar to that, but not too terrible. Woo, we're looking a little scary. Okay, so I really feel like this might be a little bit too light for me. So what I'm gonna do to fix that is I'm gonna do the same thing that I always do and mix in a little bit of my It Cosmetics CC cream, and hopefully these two foundations will work well together. Okay, so right away, I know that I look pale. I'm gonna need to go back and probably get the next shade up and maybe mix those two together to create my perfect shade. But I love the way this literally, it's so full coverage. It hid almost everything. I mean, obviously I still have some imperfections showing, but for the most part it has really concealed most of my redness and just really done a good job. I am probably going to be throwing away my Tarte Shape Tape foundation and just using this from now on. I think it looks beautiful. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and smoke out our bottom lash line. So I'm gonna take my flat shader brush and I'm going to take this red shade here and we're gonna kind of pack that towards the waterline. I'm gonna grab this orange shade and use that to smoke out the bottom lash line. Okay guys, this is the final look. Final thoughts also. I think that the Morphe Boss Mood palette, this beautiful thing right here, totally worth the money. I want to say that I paid around 20 bucks for this, 25, something around there. The shades worked beautifully, especially I love this green, the green shades in this palette. Just, I have nothing else like them in my collection. Love them. This foundation, love it. I feel like the coverage was beautiful. Very, very full coverage, which I needed. Doesn't seem to be settling into any of my fine lines or my wrinkles. Love it. Especially for $12, you cannot beat this. Lastly, I want to talk about this little silicone applicator brush by NYX. Looks like this. This to me is a lifesaver, especially with shades that just do not apply well with a normal brush. So like even if you try wetting them, they just don't want to apply, which I found that a lot of Morphe shades can be like that. That's part of the reason I went out and bought this brush, to be able to get the precision of a brush. So this right here, total lifesaver, $11.99, got it at Ulta, completely worth the money. Those are my final thoughts, and this right here is our final look. So if you guys love this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.